Hello everyone, and welcome back to another short video on the Monster Hunter series. Today we'll be talking about Lynian creatures, their concepts and designs, as well as their history throughout the series. One of the most popular and well-known Lynian creatures in the series are felines, but there have been multiple other species introduced since the game's initial inception. On top of that, there are even designs for other Lynian-like species that have never made it into Monster Hunter's final product. Let's take a look. As I mentioned earlier, felines are one of the more dominant aspects of Monster Hunter as a whole, often acting as mascots for the series and appearing in every mainline release. Throughout the series, players have been able to hire felines as palicos who will fight alongside hunters, or even go on their own missions. In my previous videos, I've discussed the Feline Comrade system, in which the player can hire and train felines for various uses. Aside from palicos, felines can have various other jobs, generally some form of trade. For example, village farms are usually run by groups of felines, and the players can utilize them to perform multiple resource gathering tasks. Cooking is an especially large aspect of feline occupation, with chefs being able to create meals that can bestow various feline effects on the player before going out on a quest. Some felines are also known to work for the hunting guild. In Poke Village exists a female guild messenger feline who can task the player with high-rank quests. Concept art states that the guild messenger is well acquainted with the villager and is able to speak more like a human being than others of her kind. In early releases within the series, the felines were easily broken up into two subspecies, your typical light fur felines and darker fur malinx. Both of these subspecies have domesticated and wild counterparts. In the wild areas, felines are generally fairly docile unless attacked or provoked, while malinx will be aggressive towards the hunter and attempt to steal their items. This still happens in releases like Generations Ultimate, but generally now felines and malinx are much more similar. Since players can customize their palicos with various features, the game's put less stock on malinx being a bad guy variation of felines. Concept art that shows the origin design for felines has them wearing masks and typically tried to hide the fact that they were just a cat. This is due to the designer originally believing the cat identity was supposed to be a surprise. Some of the unused illustrations even show wild felines, referred to as cat goblins, using various weaponry like bows, clubs, and lances. These cat goblins have various classes like the Goblin Ranger, Thief, and Fighter. Despite the name Goblin, these creatures look like your traditional wild felines. Speaking of goblins, there are various unused designs and concepts surrounding them. These designs more resemble that of a traditional fantasy goblin, and a lot of their concepts come off similar to Shakalaka, due to their small stature and them generally wearing some form of mask. As you can see by the pictures I'm showing you, there are many design options for goblins and a lot of thought that went into them. One really fleshed out design idea for goblins was the forest's demolition team, in which the goblins have various classes and looked like walking sproutlings. These creatures were considered to be the bottom of the food chain and would generally prey on creatures that have already died. The name demolition team comes from them dismantling dead creatures for food and materials. They were part of clans, and their personalities would differ based on which of these clans and which locations they hailed from. Now, Shakalaka were designed and released in Monster Hunter 2. They are tribal-like Lynian creatures and never remove their mask unless defeated. When defeated, they will burrow underground, but leave their mask behind, allowing the hunter to carve it. This means hunters have no idea what they actually look like. However, if we compare them to their concept art, it is most likely similar to that of the goblin designs. This hasn't been proven and is simply what I am inferring from the illustrations books. They are clumsy attackers, but have the ability to use tools and weaponry similar to that of felines, and can even inflict status ailments like poison on the player. Some tribes of Shakalaka work under a larger version of the species known as King Shakalaka. King Shakalaka will often lead the smaller creatures in a hunt and use teamwork to take down whatever it is they are hunting at the time. It wouldn't be until the third generation that hunters would finally team up with some Shakalaka. Cha-Cha and Kayamba are two examples of young Shakalaka that have gone on a pilgrimage to find a rare mask, which is part of a special ritual those from their tribe participate in. These Shakalaka function similarly to feline comrades, but can wear various types of masks for different effects. Their dances also have the ability to bestow buffs on hunters. Many of the masks worn by Cha-Cha and Kayamba were designed based on their functionality with general shapes in mind. These were better fleshed out further in design, but the artists wanted to make sure that they were not overly complex and not to take away from the small bodies of the two Shakalaka. Monster Hunter Illustrations Volume 2 also includes many designs for various advanced Shakalaka. ones that not only wear masks, but various armor. You can find examples of this in the pictures I'm showing you now. In his original design, Kayamba was to be a Shakalaka child who had wandered into Moga Village from the distant eastern countries. In Monster Hunter Frontier, one new Lynian creature is introduced, called a Uruki. They are similar in design to that of monkeys and can use tools similar to felines. They are mostly docile as well, but will fight large monsters when they impede on their territory. They often attempt to communicate with hunters, but do not speak the human language. Additionally, they've been known to help hunters similar to comrades or Grimalkyne, offering to heal them or assist them in battle. They live specifically in one area of Frontier, known as Flower Field, and seem to enjoy spending most of their time growing plants and farming, even growing hostile plants to help defend their territory. However, this has been known to backfire on the creatures, as large Frontier monsters known as Foro Kururu are known to feed on them. Moving on to Monster Hunter World, I don't have as much design information about the following creatures, but I'm still here to educate you on their roles and actions within the games themselves. First up, we have the Grimalkynes, which are another tribe-oriented type of Lynian species, and similar in cat-like features to felines or Malinks. These tribes exist within different areas of the New World. First, there are bug trappers, which are found in the ancient forest. Protectors, found in the Wildspire Wastes, Troopers, found in the Coral Highlands, and Plunderers, who are found in the Rotten Vale. Each of these tribes have distinct colors of fur around their chest, paws, and ear tips to differentiate them. They're rarely, if ever, hostile towards hunters or other humanoids, and through gaining their trust are often willing to help various hunters in their task of taking down large creatures. While hunters seem unable to directly communicate with Grimalkyne, felines can have full conversations with them, which allows hunters to befriend them as well. They will even share their tools with those befriended, allowing a hunter's palico to make use of them for various effects. The player can track Grimalkynes by following their various doodles and wall carvings found around hunting areas in the New World. Next are the Gajalaka, which are very similar to Shakalaka in both name and design. Unlike Shakalaka, the Gajalaka can inflict various types of status effects, like paralysis and sleep, on top of poison. The type of status ailment they can inflict can be inferred based on the color of the accents found on their mask. They start off fairly aggressive to both hunters and monsters alike. In World, the player can complete optional quests for the Lynian researcher in order to befriend them. After befriending them, they function similar to the Grimalkyne and will help the player in battle, as well as opening various shortcuts in Elder's Recess. Still similar to Shakalaka, the Gajalaka are led by a larger version of them called the Gajalaka Chief. The fight against the Chief is very similar to that of King Shakalaka, but is only ever encountered in a special crossover assignment with The Witcher 3, where Geralt of Rivia runs into one. This begs the question on the canonicity of the fight and the creature as a whole, but considering their similarities, it is easy to assume that the Gajalaka have a leader figure as well. At the very least, it is implied that the chieftain is canon, but there is no solid proof to the validity of that as of now. Finally, introduced to Monster Hunter World Iceborne are the Boaboa. I've had a hard time finding information for them online. That being said, there is a little bit that we know about them. Specifically, that young Boaboa will go out to hunt a Beatotus as a rite of passage, and will be seen as heroes to their tribe if they are successful. Now, the wiki seems to liken them to Grimalkyne, but I see it as much more accurate to compare them to Gajalaka within resemblance. They are both tribal-like creatures that wear masks after all. We even get to see a Boaboa without its mask on, and it has zero cat-like features. They can also inflict ailments similar to that of a Gajalaka. And that's all the existing and non-existent types of Lynian creatures for you. If you found this video entertaining and learned something new, please consider liking the video and subscribing. It only takes a few seconds and helps me continue to make this content for you all. A lot of the design information for this video came from Monster Hunter Illustrations Volume 1 and Volume 2. I'll have all the page references in the description for you. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.